What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another game day update. I'm Kelcey. That is Lang Whitaker. And today, the Memphis Grizzlies, second half of back-to-back, they will take on the Indiana Pacers at home. Lang and I are both in FedEx Forum right now, waiting for everyone else to come hang out with us tonight at 7 p.m. Lang, how do the Grizzlies avoid the ESPN hangover?
You got to be professional, right? Like we know these guys are pro basketball players. Tonight's one of those nights you got to be professional. You're playing against a team that's struggling right now, is missing a lot of players due to injury, is a bottom 20-something team defensive rating. Had a game last night that they lost right at the end against Sacramento Kings. So this Pacers team, if you look at it from the outside, this is a game the Grizzlies without John Morant, this is a game the Grizzlies should win. So how do you beat a team like this? You got to come in and be professional and take care of your business. We know this Grizzlies team gets off to great starts in the first quarter. So got to get off to a good start. Don't dig yourself a hole like in that Atlanta game that you got to climb out of the whole game. Just compete from the start. And I think if you do that, we know this Grizzlies team has shown they can compete against anybody. As long as they do that from the start, I think they'll be fine. Don't you?
Yes. And you brought up a lot of good points right there. So I'm going to kind of break this down for everyone at home. The Pacers are also, this is second half of back-to-back for them. They lost by 1 point to the Sacramento Kings yesterday in Indiana. So they arrived in Memphis super late last night, but a close loss also means that a lot of their starters got major minutes. So when you look at the injury report today, as of right this second, of course, we'll have more of an update closer to game time. John Morant is still out for the Grizzlies, and the Pacers have a whole lot of guys questionable. So excuse me while I don't look at the camera for a minute. Tyrese Halliburton is questionable. Isaiah questionable. Duarte questionable. Jalen Smith questionable. Miles Turner, happy birthday, he's out. TJ Warren out. I could go on and on and on. Ricky Rubio obviously out.
McConnell's out, I'm pretty sure.
Like there's just a whole lot of people that we're not going to see. Now, the last time the Grizzlies played the Pacers this season, that one time was less than 10 days ago. John Morant also didn't play that game. Desmond Bane was the leading scorer with 21. Jaren Jackson Jr. had 19. Adams had 13 and 13. But you look over at the Pacers and what they were able to do, no one really had a good game. There was a couple guys, I think there was 4 guys in double digits, but no one scored a lot. So we look at the team now. Yes, they're going to be tired. They're going to be missing a few people. Like, what's the main key? I know you're saying the Grizzlies need to come in and just be professional, but
yeah, I think you don't really worry about the Pacers and their injury problems. You worry about yourself and you handle your own business. And look, this is a Pacers team at the start of the season. Their main pieces were going to be Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis. Those guys are both, one's out, one's gone. TJ Warren was going to be a big scorer for them. He's not playing. Karis LeVert was going to be a big scorer for them. He's gone. So they've really kind of hit the reset button in the middle of the season and changed everything up. And I think right now for the Pacers, it's probably just more about getting reps, seeing guys play, thinking for next season, 2 seasons from now, worrying about the summer and all that. So if you're the Grizzlies, like, you don't really care who the Pacers run out there. You worry about yourself and doing what you do. And we saw this Grizzlies team last night do a lot of those things, get off to a big start in the first quarter, a lot of deflections, a lot of fast break points, bench points, 52-11 against the Nets last night. We know this Grizzlies team can do those things and do them really well at an elite level. So it doesn't, to me, if I'm the Grizzlies, I don't look at who the opponent is. I look at myself and my team and how we can maximize our chances tonight.
All right. So looking at how you don't need them to beat you. You don't want to beat yourself. Let's look at one stat each, me and you, that the Grizzlies need to dominate tonight in order to get the W. Keep in mind, the last time these 2 teams played, you talk about quick starts. They had 42 points in the second quarter, led by as much as 43 to secure the 135-102 win. I'm going to go first.
Go for it.
I'm going to go with points in the paint. Both these teams top 5 in the league in points in the paint. I think, especially with Isaiah Stewart possibly out, he's questionable right now. I think not only can the bigs have a big night, like Jaren, who he did last time. Steven had a nice night last time against them. But I also think our floater gang, I think BC, I think Tyus can have a field day in the paint as well. So I'm going to go points in the paint. Grizzlies dominate in the paint. They get the dub. What's your stat?
I would also just throw in there, like, last night, the Grizzlies, usually they dominate points in the paint, and the Nets were getting to the rim a lot and scoring in the paint a lot. And it was one of those categories the Grizzlies didn't dominate, but they hit so many threes and defended so well against threes on the Nets that it didn't really matter. So I would assume tonight that's going to be a point of emphasis for the Grizzlies. Get back to those points in the paint. I mean, the one I would go with is fast break points, because to me, fast break points comes off of, steals, turnovers, missed shots. That's the way the Grizzlies get out and run, deflections, all that stuff. And we saw when the Grizzlies built that big lead in the first half against the Nets, it was a lot of that. I think about like Kyle Anderson's steal right before halftime, where he went down and got a layup. There was a lot of that. And then once the Nets kind of forced them into that half court offense in the second half, they were able to climb back into it, because you have two of the great half court players in the world playing on the Nets team. So if I'm the Grizzlies tonight, I'm looking at getting those fast break points, getting out, playing downhill, getting those deflections, getting those turnovers, rebounds, all that stuff, and being able to play the type of game that we know this Grizzlies team A, wants to play, and B, is great at playing.
Perfect. Lang, couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for your time today, Grizzlies fans. Like I said, it is no longer a 6:30 tip, so get your butts down to FedEx Forum. You can get your tickets at 901-888-HOOP or grizzlies.com. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. And if you're chilling at home tonight, make sure you're still tuned in, and you can watch the entire game on Bally Sports Southeast.